everybody. So it was very interesting after all the talk about dumping RMM, and you guys know I did a video on it last week, which really didn't talk about dumping your RMM. I kind of used that as a teaser to talk about, what questions you should ask if it looks like your industry is pivoting. And then based on that, I did a poll, and I wanted to know why everybody thought that RMM was so important. And it was very interesting because a lot of other articles, a lot of other resources, a lot of other people in the industry were getting feedback that patch management was the most important thing. Well, in the survey that I put out, nobody responded with patch management. So let's take a look at it.
Did you know you shine and I'm falling for the way you smile? You're gonna take the fight now, punch the lights out, 'cause you're a champion.
Yes, I'd like a number 2, just the sandwich, and an iced caramel macchiato.
What size?
Medium is fine.
Okay. 5.5, okay, thank you.
Thank you. So what I thought was so interesting is, we posed that question about RMM, and a lot of people commented on how patch management was so important, especially when it comes to security. And of course it is, but the counterpoint is made that the operating systems and most of your line of business applications are so good at patching themselves these days that you don't really need an RMM to do that. And, the standard arguments came in of, well, you need to monitor it, you need to be able to have more control over scheduling it and things like that. Things that I think are relevant arguments to have. But then when I put out a poll about it, nobody said patch management was important to their RMM. So what did they say was important? Well, 70% of you said that monitoring and automation were important. Now, monitoring I get, okay? Monitoring I get, and somebody in the comments made a very good observation. They said that if you configure your RMM properly, it proactively tells you and shows you about trends so that you can see where failures are going to happen or where you might need upgrades in advance so that you can take care of them ahead of time. Now, as you guys know, I'm totally into proactive work, right? So that is a totally valid situation. My argument though is, do we really need system level access to get that type of monitoring data? And I think the answer to that is no, and I think the vendors should take note here and find out if there's a way that they can have a lower risk agent that they can use that can do some of these things so that we don't have to open up the entire system to an RMM tool that could potentially be breached. So the next one, which is obviously very near and dear to my heart, is automation. For a lot of years, I have totally plugged why you should do automation, and all of the different things that it will gain you in terms of even reactive work, right? So if you put automations in place that do step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, first of all, it can make it faster. So you spend less time working on a ticket, especially, and in managed services, that matters a whole lot. But it also makes your service delivery more standardized across all of your technicians, because now all of your technicians are handling those same problems exactly the same way because they're using that automation. Now, what I've seen in the wild is that very few MSPs actually take advantage of that automation. So I'm finding it interesting that so many of you say automation, but then don't use automation. Here's what I'd like to know about this one. I'd like you to comment and let me know what you're actually using in terms of automation so that everybody else can get an idea of what you're using your RMM for in order to automate. All right, guys, thanks for watching this Saturday morning edition. Hopefully you found that information interesting. Hopefully you'll use it to be able to position your business in the way you deliver your services in the future. If you want to look at the original video that I did last week about the 4 questions you should ask when it looks like your industry is going to pivot, go ahead. The link for that is down in the comments, so go ahead and check that out. If you want to check out the original poll that I'm basing this video on, go ahead and go over to the All Things MSP Facebook group. If you haven't joined, go ahead and join, and we have a lot of great conversations around things like this, the business operations of running a managed services business. And then also make sure you like, subscribe, all the things for the YouTube channel so that, the algorithm picks us up and we get, a lot more viewers and we can have a much deeper conversation with a lot more members of this community. That's what I really want to do. I want to drive conversations in this community, not about the technical aspects of this business, because we're all, most of us anyway, are technicians, and that's what we really get into. That's where our expertise is. That's why we got into this business in the first place. Where we struggle is the business operations, and that's where I want to have these conversations and have kind of the hive mind around all of that. Thanks again, and I'll see you in the next video.